Hey yo, what's going on, all my gamers, all my reaction gamers chat? The Gooner game argument. Now this is something I know well. As someone who plays nothing but gacha games, this is something that I know well, chat, and I'm gonna let my expertise talk here as we get into this video. But let's get into it.
When it comes to recent and modern discourse surrounding video games, especially newer ones, the focus is often shifted to depictions of women in games.
Wait, who's in this? Wait, I might actually have seen a lot of these videos.
Especially newer ones, the focus is often shifted to
I haven't seen him. I've seen that meme.
depictions
I've watched Sydney. I don't think I've seen that
women.
meme. Also, yes, baby. What is it called? Stellar Blade Eve. Yeah.
in games. How female characters are
I almost forgot how she looks normally, because if you have looked at her in Nikkei, oh my god, they made it so much worse or better depending on how you feel about it. She's got some insane hips in that.
designed, and what has changed now when we compare them to designs from older games. If you are at all aware of conversations like these in online spaces like Twitter or YouTube, then you know that this is a conversation that gets very heated very fast. I have
Yeah.
weighed in on this topic myself several times, and this is something that I like
Why I only play old games, censorship remastered. Do girls really care? I think I've watched a few of these, and in fact, maybe I'll watch more.
discussing and giving my opinion on, because I feel like not enough women in this space feel like they can be honest. And the reason for that is exactly what I just mentioned. The conversation gets heated very fast, all sorts of labels and mean words get thrown around.
How do I
It's
say this? I think girls do feel comfortable doing it, but it's mostly VTubers. Mostly just because they can hide behind the model.
not really something that most people want to deal with, understandably. Lucky for you guys, I don't really care, so I'm gonna say it anyway.
Oh, me neither, dude. I am all about it. I want problems always.
One of the stupidest and most hollow arguments that you will hear when you bring up the fact that there has been a very obvious change in how women are depicted in video games is that you are wrong for criticizing it, and you just want female characters to fit into your hyper-femme fantasy of fuckability.
I mean, I'm not saying they're wrong, right? But also at the same time, they're also wrong. So we're both wrong in our own ways.
This is a real comment that I got, by the way, on my World of Warcraft video, where I talk about how Liadrin does not look like a blood elf, or how she doesn't really fit that specific, already well-established look that we've grown accustomed to for years. One thing that is said to
got a
me over
strong
and over again whenever I
jawline to
bring
be-
this
that's
up
for
is
sure.
that I just want to pander to Gooners, and that unless video game characters look like porn stars, they're apparently not good enough for me. I find it so hypocritical and ironic that the people that accuse me of these sorts of things are the ones that are bringing this conversation into some very vulgar and sexual places. It is incredible.
I mean, it's always that. What is that one thing that Asmund always says? They cry out in pain as they hit you. That's kind of what that sounds like when these people are talking like that, right? Because they always have to take it to a weird place and insult you in a way that you would imagine the person that they're accusing you of, you would imagine that's how they insult women, but yet they're the ones who are virtuous and true. That's always the funny thing for me. So that's why I'm like, I embrace it, bro.
Incredibly harmful to equate
Don't matter to me.
femininity to a term like fuckability. It's weird, and it suggests that presenting as more feminine is this thing that solely revolves around being more attractive to men, and that it cannot just be a thing where women express themselves
Zelda.
in this way for the sake of expressing themselves in this way.
Peach.
I've already said this in my Why I Only Play Old Games video, where it's starting to feel a lot like femininity, and the term in itself, especially in gaming, is becoming this like inherently evil, vulgar thing. With comments like this, my point is proven. For some reason,
Right.
calling for more feminine characters that aren't big, strong, muscular girl bosses or haven't had their appearance visibly toned down from their real-life models is seen as equal to asking for something really offensive and crass.
I would, chat, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, you cannot tell me that the women who have been the models for these characters aren't offended in some way in the way that they get portrayed once they get scanned and put into the game. Like, bro, they make you guys look so awful. Had that been me, bro, I would be offended. I'd be like, what did you do to me, brother? You know what I'm saying? And you see the way that they 3D scan that one model for Stellar Blade, and it's like it's 1-to-1. I would just be like, "Yo, bro, I'm going to a Korean game or a Chinese game or something like that. I ain't going back to a AAA Western made game. Hell no, bro. They're just gonna do you dirty every time."
Demonizing people for speaking about it is wrong. Pretending that being more drawn to conventionally attractive characters is anything but human nature is also wrong. And I do think that there are definitely things that can be...
They're conventionally attractive. Do you know why they're called conventionally attractive? Because we all agree it's what's attractive. You can't really shame someone for someone looking as attractive as a person can be. That's just not how that works.
Unhelpful in this discussion, like that one meme that somebody made with the character from Ghost of Yotai, where they added the really exaggerated chest and said,
anyways, chat, when does Miyabi come back again? No, you know what? This would be Yijun. I was gonna say she looks like Miyabi, but this is probably closer to Yijun because Yijun, these are one Yijun's colors, and two, yeah, they out like that.
this is made for gamers. But I see that and I don't personally take this seriously. I actually think that this is more than likely satire.
It's
a sort
funny.
of a rage bait that people seem to fall for.
Also, it's probably it's probably what Wu Chang probably is.
Time. I just know that Reddit had a field day with that one. Now, first of all, conventionally
Oh my
attractive does
God,
not
Reddit.
necessarily mean sexy, but on the topic of sexy game characters, I did do a video about this very topic a while back. How do women really feel about them in games? So
I
this
don't
is
think I watched that
actually
video, so
talked
I'll
to
watch
my mom
it.
about as well, but also just based on the comment section from that video, the thing that I've gathered is that what we really want are options. We want the option to be able to run around in a chainmail bikini or go full coverage plate armor, epic medieval knight style. You know this is true even if you look at the sort of transmogs that girls do for their World of Warcraft characters. And I think that's super fair. And you know what game had options? The original Oblivion.
Oh.
Remember my video on censorship in the Oblivion remaster where I showed the changes in clothing and armor that were made to appear less feminine on the female body?
That's
the part about
awful.
them making chests smaller, taking
What?
away the things from female bodies that we literally cannot help having in favor of that more androgynous look.
Listen, I do enjoy me some androgynous girls, but the way that she said it was so perfect. There's gotta be options, bro. There just has to be. You know what's even funnier too? If you give a guy an option to create his character from scratch, having it as a male or female, do you think they're gonna have a big booba, huge aboba character every time? No. Do you know what a lot of guys do when they get their character creations and they have options? They make the most ugliest men in the game. It's just funny, but to have that option there is always nice, right?
One comment that I got on that video was that it's good
It's
that
so
they got rid
funny.
of that stuff, especially the boob armor, because that didn't exist in
Why?
real life and that doesn't make any sense. And you know what? That's a valid conversation
That's very
to
true.
sit down and have, especially if you're going for a game with
I think that's true, and I do agree with that. However, we're not going. That's not what we're going. That's not what we're going for, right? I don't know why it's always such a weird way. People take it in such a weird way when you ask for like not exactly realism, especially in their games, in their fantasy games. Why do I want to know how the real people wore their armor instead of having a super cool armor, right? You know what I'm saying?
more historical accuracy in terms of things like armor, and that is something that I can totally get behind. But in taking certain
They're
options
right.
away,
They're
you
right.
do just that. You take away options. You see, in the original Oblivion, not every armor set changed on female characters. The steel armor set, for example, was the exact same on
That's pretty
both
cool.
genders. But if you really wanted that weird fantasy game look for female characters with the boob armor, you could have it as well. Sure, it's not
This is-
practical, but none of
Adds
this
up
is real
pretty well.
anyway. And if we start talking about practical, how about we don't mention the glass armor and how that would fare in the real world? But the armor change, along with
Pure
all of
glass,
the obvious
baby.
changes to make chests smaller and less apparent or covered completely, told me everything that I needed to know.
Dude,
It
this
sends
looks
the message that
awful.
the female body is this bad thing that we should cover up. We shouldn't bring any attention to it, and the only valid female characters are the ones that are fully covered and look like they could take down any man with their bare hands. And look,
They don't need no man, and they got the attitude and they're girl bossing, and they can survive in a world, and they don't need no man, chat.
there are times when that sort of thing can be really cool. I love a Brienne of Tarth moment. I think that she's
Ooh.
such a cool character. No, she wasn't traditionally feminine, and yes, she was physically way stronger than the average woman.
She looks
and
scary.
man. But there was a
That's kinda
story
cool.
to tell there. She was an interesting character who had this alternative
got
take
his
on
ass.
femininity. And I didn't
Did you
feel
see
like
that?
she was that way.
Chat, let's watch that kick one more time.
Was an interesting character who had this
Ugh.
alternative take on
Hot as
femininity.
ass.
And I didn't feel like she was that way just because. There was so
She looks
much
very
meaning there. But when
strict.
every single character is made to be a sort of Brienne of Tarth,
Oh,
it loses
cool.
its meaning. It stops being
Is this from Game of Thrones? This looks really cool. I never watched Game of Thrones. I should watch it. I should just like binge it, right?
interesting and special. It gets boring. At that point, it does feel like it's being done specifically to send some kind of message. It's actually insanely ironic just how conservative the standards have gotten when it comes to female game characters, especially in things like the Oblivion remaster, for which, funny enough, I got called a conservative for pointing it out. But
What?
people were praising the changes made in the remaster as if the original
I don't understand, bro. None of this political right or left stuff makes sense. Why is it that when someone calls you words, they're the ones who are doing it worse, right? When they say that you're body shaming women, the first thing they do is they shame the woman's body and try to make it not feminine. Why does no one notice this? Or I'm sure everyone notices it. But like, why can no one explain that? That's the right word. Why can no one explain it? Why is it the way that you show and preserve the beauty of a woman is to take away the beauty of a woman? I don't get it, bro. I don't get it.
Oblivion was somehow this hypersexual game with
Oh my god, that's how my character is gonna look.
a lot of focus on the female body, a Gooner game, if you will.
Got that
But it
Yao Ming
wasn't. For
facial
me pointing
structure.
out that there was nothing wrong with this, I got labeled all sorts of things. And honestly, real talk, if you have a problem with this, then I don't see you as any different than the bottom feeders from over at 4chan who come into my comment section and say things like, I'm prostituting myself for views when I wear a lower cut top in the video. You guys are two sides of the same coin. In trying to tone down female characters and then having visceral reactions when a studio makes a character in a
God,
more
bro, she's
revealing
so
outfit,
fine.
what we're actually ending
Emma
up with
Frost is
are
something
easily
special.
forgettable and generally in a more revealing outfit.
I love
what we're actually ending up with are easily
You know what's really fun? Oh my god, I forgot about Mary Jane's Titanic chin or Titanic jawline and whatever the fuck this thing is. I'm not gonna lie, bro. She is built, and I do love muscular women. But my favorite part about Aloy is when they replace Aloy's face with the fat guy. It's my favorite thing. Also, I think I would prefer this Aloy over the Genshin Aloy. I don't think I like the Genshin Aloy that much. She's honestly, I mean, she's obviously the worst character in the game, right? But that's just because she can't have constellations. But I've seen some crazy stuff with Genshin Aloy. Also, what are these two from? Is this from Yote? What the hell is this? Why does it look like she's like half a neck?
forgettable
I don't know.
and
I don't know what
generally
the character's
bland
from.
designs for female characters. It's kind of like studios are afraid
I
to make
can't stop looking at Mary Jane, bro. It's just something. That is something special. This Mary Jane too. That is something special. That's for sure.
and generally bland designs for female characters. It's kind of
Oh
like
my
studios
gosh.
are afraid to make more appealing female characters. Again, easily forgettable, not a lot of effort put into their design. But even going away from like
I don't know why they're so scared of it when it's proven to work. That's my question. There's not been an instance that I can tell that I know of games going away from the conventional attractiveness and then succeeding. I could tell you all the games that have succeeded. It's every game before 2020 and past 2025, I think. but I don't know anything before that.
revealing outfits conversation. I don't think that an appealing female character
these characters
needs to
are
have
gorgeous.
a super revealing outfit. A character that I always bring up in these conversations is Jade from Beyond Good and Evil. She
Ooh.
definitely has a more alternative take on femininity. She's more of a tomboy, shorter
Love
hair,
'em.
unconventional color lipstick, but she sticks with you. You remember her. It's a character that's appealing not because she's this
God,
really
games used to look
sexy,
so cool.
hyper-feminine being, but she clearly is a
They're
female
so different,
character
I should
that was
say.
designed by a person who has a positive attitude towards women. And that really shines through. She is strong in ways that don't necessarily mean that she has to be super jacked and she can wield a warhammer, but she's smart, and that's part of gameplay. You are encouraged to find ways other than physical fighting to progress, and she does a really good job with all of that. I've kind of gone from making female characters less sexualized to making them super bland. More and more I find that female characters are turning into background character number 4. And it is in part because we're on this really weird crusade against these elusive Gooners that seem to be ruining everything. I don't know why I should care that somebody, God forbid, is attracted to one of my favorite female characters. Like, that's none of my business, really. It doesn't affect me that somebody's over there, like, drooling.
Oh my god, bro. And make sure you never go. There's like 2 communities that attack you for finding a character attractive. It's like the people who want to have these like new type of women in their games, and then it's like the Yuri people, right? Because if you say like, oh my god, I love super freak, what's her name? Oh god, what's her name? Special Week from Uma Musume, like any of the Uma Musume girls, especially because of like the ones that look older, like Symbole Rudolph or something, and they're like, no, that's not for you. Those aren't for you. They're for these women. It's like blah blah blah. It's like, bro, who cares? Why does that bother you so much? Symbole Rudolph is best girl. God, what's her name? Is it Super Freak? I don't remember what her name. Gosh, I gotta look that up. I'm an idiot. Super Creek, aka Super Freak.
Over a particular character.
Chat, I want to play Goo Goo Babies.
Because games are meant to be fun. Part of the fun are appealing game characters, because then you have cosplayers who take
It's sad how much she only has. She only gets to show like older games, right? Unless, you know, obviously she wants to go down the gacha route, but still.
Character and show their interpretation of it. And cosplay is such
Also
a great
Wu-Chang.
thing, in my opinion, because it really is open to everybody. No matter your race, no matter what shape or size you are, no matter what your background is. I remember seeing this TikTok from a plus-size creator who was cosplaying a character from the anime One Piece. Don't quote me on that because I haven't watched One Piece, but I believe she was cosplaying Boa Hancock. Somebody in her comments said,
Yep,
well, actually,
Boa.
you look more like this character, and you probably should have done this cosplay instead. Again, I don't watch anime, I haven't watched One Piece, so I'm not sure exactly who they were referring to, but I know that the character that they brought up is fat. The creator responded by saying, just because I'm plus-sized does not mean I always have to cosplay fat characters. And yeah, she is 100% right, because that's...
Oh god, they do it for everything. I'm not gonna lie. Whether it's your like skin color, your race, or your body size. People just got upset over some guy cosplaying as Nightwing because he wasn't shredded like Nightwing. And all the girls love him, dude. It's so funny. You see guy after guy just insulting him, and all the girls are just fawning over him. It's great.
Not what cosplay is.
Shout out to that
Nightwing.
Nightwing.
Attractive characters are somehow harmful and they're not for everybody is absurd. Deep down, all of us want to look good. For me, like, that's part of the appeal of cosplay, getting a character who's really attractive, dressing up as this character, and seeing myself in...
I'm just saying, to this day, they all want to cosplay all the hot characters, but I've never seen anyone cosplay as Tanith. Is it Tanith? Tosh. Her name is Tosh. Or anyone from Concord. Is that a coincidence? Feels like it to me.
That character, appealing game characters inspire people, no matter what they look like or who they are, to come up with something, their own interpretation of said character. This whole thing of not appealing to someone's fantasy or the male fantasy, in the long run, is actually perpetuating an unhealthy attitude towards women. Not allowed to have attractive characters because the Gooners might like them. Blaming attractive female characters because men are attracted to them. Just think about that for 1 second. At the end of the day, there is a conversation to be had here, absolutely, but the Gooner game argument is unproductive, unintelligent,
Absolutely.
and it does way more harm than good. There is this idea that women somehow cannot have this opinion that I'm expressing in this video, and that if we say these things, we're just pandering to somebody. Because how could I possibly—
Oh, dude, that's for everything. Everyone gets called a pick-me. If you want to have a good laugh, go to find, like, I think Reddit threads of, like, the top female commentary channels, like Alana or Kitsunero or like Scoochen, and they're just getting called pick-me's one after another. It's really, really funny, and like no one really cares because it's like I think the funniest thing is this one thing that Rosie said is that she wasn't picked, she was chosen. And I that resonated with me. And I know she's a silly cat. I know she was being a silly cow, but like it resonated with me. I get that.
Form this original opinion without your permission. Video games are art. Video game characters are art. It's also valid to criticize the art for very obviously approaching female character design with this caution against the Gooners that in actual fact is creating a hostile attitude towards femininity. Whatever side of this argument you're on, you are entitled to your own opinion. You don't have to agree with me. One thing that I will stand very firmly on is that equating femininity, just the simple concept of femininity without sexual attraction, without all of that, equating it to something really vulgar and using terms like fuckability and Gooner game, especially when you're shown examples of something really tame and just like elements that women really cannot help having. When you use such harsh language to describe all of that, you are part of the problem. That's my take on the situation. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. As always, huge shout out to my channel members, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Be seeing you.
Bye bye. I like this video, dude. This video was very, 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 very well made. I really like it. I like all the points that she's making, and yeah, chat. Like I said earlier, the way that these developers want to protect femininity is by taking it away. It makes sense if you don't think about it. But you know what, chat? I just like talking about the stuff because, you know, chat, I enjoy video games, and I enjoy my video games having hot characters. Yeah, but well-written hot characters, too. Not just like if you put a character in front of me with a huge honkers, I'm just going to like it. No. They have to be well-written, of course. Anyways, chat, that's about it. Let me know you guys feel calm, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you gamers the next one. Bye.